DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Well, I hope you're well. It is Wednesday evening. It's 9:30 in the evening. And I just finished speaking to Mrs. DC over in Spain, where she's still for, let me see now, what day are we? We're Wednesday? Well, she'll be back next week on Wednesday, yeah. So she has another week, but they're getting ready to go to another city. They were in a place called Vigo, which is in Galicia in Spain, and they're going off to Compostelle. So you can look it up if you want, but it's all nice places, actually nice places. It's not the warm. It's not the Mediterranean side, so it's the Atlantic side. So the sea is not warm. I mean, it's not. People do. It's a bit like over in North America, the Californian side, or I was going to say the northern side of the is colder. Yeah, I saw an article today when I was doing some of my readings, and where was it now? Was it Scientific American? I don't remember anymore, and that's probably where that's going to kind of follow up on what it was about, because it was about memories and how early memories that you have, and why what they talk about childhood or infantile amnesia, and they don't actually they meaning the scientists that study those things don't really know yet really what is the reason, the real reason for these this infantile amnesia. Can you think of some, I mean, like your earliest memory of, that somehow connects, with you? Because one of those things in this article was that for an infant, actually, very often the memory has to connect with with the self. As they were saying in the article, is that like a baby looks into a mirror in very early age, doesn't realize that it's looking at itself, or the baby is looking at it thinks it's another person, and smiles, and they've made experiments at different ages, or I was going to say different months, where one actually notices the self. And what they would do, they would put like a spot somewhere on the child, until the child actually realized that the spot was something that was theirs. So the child had processed that you had made something on their head, or I don't know, somewhere on their body, and then all of a sudden processed that it was their spot in the mirror and not just some random child. I was thinking I have vlogged on something similar before, but like my earliest memories, I know that the earliest memory that I would probably have is nevertheless around 18 months. That is when my grandfather died, and my grandfather died uh, at the hospital, and at the same time, my brother, it was just a question of days. Well, actually, yeah, was being born, and my mom was in the hospital, and they brought to see me, and I guess they probably brought me to see brought to see my mother. Now, was it in the same hospital? I'm not even certain. It might not even have been in the same hospital. But anyway, I know that they brought me to see my grandfather, and I explained at one point that I had this memory of seeing somebody in a bed all with white and so on, and then family realized that actually it was my grandfather in the bed. Um, but that's about it. The clearest memory that I do have, though, around that time is that we moved from a farm um, to my grandmother's farm. So my parents moved in with my grandmother, uh, and we had taken the horse and buggy and went across the fields, I guess, and went into the room where my toys were. And I do remember finding toys. I kind of remember that it was a little plastic toy. Don't ask me exactly what it was. I can't quite say. Was it maybe a horse? I'm not quite certain, but I could be confusing that because the fact is, and I also remember that I almost fell back in the horse in the buggy. So I wasn't really. I mean, at that age, I certainly wasn't sitting alone, but somehow I kind of remember a feeling of falling back or something. But I clearly remember the joy that I felt when I was in that room, and that, finding those toys again. And at my grandmother's place, they had two things that had marked me very much. They had a phone, so on the wall phone, like you see in really old movies where people talk into it like that. They had one of those, and they had a well, kind of like a water well in the house of some type. Yeah. It's funny. Those are memories. So I would have been like in, exactly when I was for these two memories, I was like in probably, pushing 3 years old or something like that. I know that when I talk with my second son, he has very little or close to no memories up to 3 years old. He kind of remembers things, but not really. I notice up to 3, he really doesn't remember much. It's funny because I was also talking though with on FaceTime. Was it 2 days ago? And there was the grandchildren, and they really wanted me to bring them into. So they're in Spain, and they wanted me to walk into the playroom so that they could look at their toys in our playroom here. And they were like looking and saying, "Oh, they like." And one was asking me, "Pull out this toy or pull out that toy." So they were looking forward in a way to get back to their toys. And one of them actually, so I think it was Matthew. Yeah, Matthew asked his dad if they could just get a car. He had forgotten or how they got there. I guess already by plane. But was asking if they could take a car and drive over and go get Grandpa. So that was kind of cute. Yeah. So anyway, memories. And I kind of like was wondering about things like that. So like Matthew is 3. Michael will soon he's 4.5. And Matthew will be 3 in July. And I'm thinking like, okay, they're on these trips, and what will they remember anything? Will anything come back? Or all those great times that we've already had together? In a way, I kind of think like they're my memories, but they won't really be theirs. But what they will be, though, is they will build up like a foundation of good feelings and like of love. I think that's a very important thing. Also, you see, I've gone from memories now to grandparenting and so on. It's there's so many interesting topics when you start to look into that. To get back to that article that I was saying, one of the very simple explanations that they were bringing is that in a very, very young child, so very young, the hippocampus, which is part, of the brain structure that is used amongst others for that, is not fully developed yet. Okay, I'll get that, But I think that I like better actually the explanation is that until the child has an idea of self, the memories are not so important, about. But that could be. But we don't always have memories about ourselves. We have memories about things and so on. So anyway, coming up to 10 minutes. When were your earliest memories? Anyway, DC signing off. Take care, everybody. I think I might go make a tag video.